Have you ever been on a road trip, stop after 3-4 hours of driving and realize that your back is so stiff it feels like it's gonna pop? Standing up and walking straight, if you stop at a rest area for instance, becomes very difficult. And the longer the ride, the worse it seems to get. Today I want to tackle that problem and help you solve that while you're on vacation to keep your vacations from being terrible. Welcome back to the Muscle Repair Shop, and today we're going to talk about 3 key stretches for anyone who's on a car trip for vacation or a long weekend. I just recently came back from a trip myself, and I couldn't believe how many people I saw getting out of their cars after riding for a while at rest areas, and they literally were bent over trying to stand up straight to get out of their car. And for most of them, they were actually driving nice cars with comfortable seats. But sitting for long periods of time can cause the body to stiffen up. Let's start with number 1, the neck. Now for most of us, we drive in our cars, we have our hands on the steering wheel, sometimes they're down on the bottom, and most people will tend to recline their seat. Well, the more you recline their seat, the more the front of the neck muscles here start to shorten on you. And so the first thing we want to do is to solve that problem when you're sitting in your car. So number 1, I would adjust the back of my seat where it's straighter. That's the first thing to do. But then I would also practice even before I would go on my trip, where I would take my hands, put my chin, rest my chin in the palm of my hands, and I don't want to use my neck muscles, but I want to use my hands to literally lift my head up towards the ceiling so that I can stretch out the muscles on the front of my neck. Now, as I come up with this, I'm going to hold for the 5 seconds, but I'm going to repeat this 10 times. And while I'm coming up for that 5-second hold, I'm going to breathe out to allow the muscles here to relax. I would do this 2, 3, 4 times a day. Probably take you 30 seconds at a time to do that. And then we can move on from there. But you want to stretch this out first so that the head is up straighter on your body. Number 2, the outside of the chest from the driving will shorten, which causes the shoulders to round in, which causes the neck to lean forward. The second step of this is to place your elbow into a door frame like I am here, hand behind your head, gently just use your feet. Don't twist your body, because by twisting your body you may get a spasm here, but use your feet and just rotate your feet and your whole body off to the left, in this case working with my right arm. If I shift to my left arm, I'm going to rotate out to my right. This will allow these muscles to open up. Now as I rotate my body, I'm going to hold this for the 5 seconds, breathe out, and I'm going to repeat this 10 times. And I would do this before you start on your trip. If you feel stiffness as you're driving, you stop at a rest area. You can do it on a corner of any building, and then when you get to your hotel room or the place you're going to stay at night, I would do it again. Number 3, because the front of the hip gets tight when you're sitting in a chair like that for long periods of time, when you try to stand up can make it feel very difficult and make the low back hurt. In this particular case, we're going to stretch the inside hip here with the leg that is downward. But if you get down on one knee, put a foot out in front of you, keep your torso nice and straight, and lean forward, you can, this leg down here, you can feel the stretch on the front of the hip over here. As you come through, and just come through, hold for the 5 seconds at a time, breathe out, allow that to release, and then repeat that 10 times. Now, for some of you who have a difficult time in getting down on one knee, if it hurts your knee, you can put a pillow under the knee down below, and then you can just shift your legs, you see, like this here, and now when you lean forward, now we're stretching this hip, keep this torso straight. Now I always also do this next to a bed so that if I lose my balance or a table, I have something to hold on to. But as I lean forward, you see, I'm not caring how far my body goes forward as much as I care about the stretch here. So I'm basically bringing my torso downward as it leans through. And again, you're going to breathe out, hold this for the 5 seconds, and then repeat this 10 times. And in doing these stretches on a trip, I would start doing this every day before you even go on a trip. But having these stretching exercises with you on your vacation can stop the back stiffness, the neck stiffness that most people feel when they travel, especially by car. Now, this also will work if you're on an airplane for long periods of time as well, but it tends to be most people who take car trips are in the car for many more hours than they are on an airplane. And so I would suggest doing these before the vacation, during the vacation, and even after the vacation when you come back. And what you'll find is you'll be able to stand up longer, straighter than you ever had before. These are the 3 stretches I use most of my days, every day actually, and especially when I go on trips that I'm going to be on a car trip like that, because it prevents my back and my neck from feeling stiff. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what kind of shape you're in, when you sit in long periods of time like that, your body will get stiff from it. Do these 3 exercises, and I'm telling you, you'll be surprised at the difference. And if you like this video, be sure to subscribe down below, ring the bell, and oh yeah, check out the video that I do for low back pain as well.